Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Tuesday, June the 10th. We are here to look at the new releases that have been published in this week. And on Tuesdays, we look at crime fiction and thrillers, the darker side. Yesterday was cozy mysteries. Today is dark and thrillery. Quick announcements. I do have sprints tonight. They start at 8 p.m. Eastern because I'm in the Mountain Time Zone. And I get here as quickly as I can after work, which means I'm starting at 6. But for the Universal Time, it's starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. They go for 2.5 hours. We do them every Tuesday and Thursday evenings and Saturday afternoons. Saturday afternoons starts at 3 and it goes for 5 hours. So you have a total of 10 hours of sprinting if you want to come in. Kim says, good morning. Good morning, Kim. Are you going to lunch today? Mary says, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Indeed. Indeed. All right, let's look at the dark side. A very popular author right now, S.A. Cosby, has a new one. They wrote the All the Sinners Bleed one. I think that's what the title was. And all kinds of awards and anticipations on this one. Hope that person can hold up to it. So this is King of Ashes. When eldest son Roman Carruthers is summoned home after his father's car accident, he finds his younger brother Dante in debt to dangerous criminals, and his sister Nevaeh, which is heaven backwards, exhausted from holding the family and the family business together. Nevaeh and their father, who run the Carruthers crematorium in the rundown central Virginia town of Jefferson Run, see death up close every day. But mortality draws even closer when it becomes clear that the crash that landed their father in a coma was no accident, and Dante's recklessness has placed them all in real danger. Roman, a financial whiz with a head for numbers and a talent for making his clients rich, has some money to help buy his brother out of trouble. But in his work with wannabe tough guys, he's forgotten that there are real gangsters out there. As his bargaining chips go up in smoke, Roman realizes that he has only one thing left to offer to save his brother, himself and his own particular set of skills. Roman begins his work for the criminals while Nevaeh tries to uncover the long-ago mystery of what happened to their mother, who disappeared when they were teenagers. But Roman is far less of a pushover than the gangsters realize. He is willing to do anything to save his family. Anything. Because everything burns. Ew. That was a creepy way to end it. Riley Sager, another very popular author, has a new one. With a Vengeance. Good afternoon, Helen. How are you doing? Mary says hi to Kim and Helen. And Kim, plan is to go. Awesome. And Kim says, hey, Mary. With a Vengeance. One train, no stops. A deadly game of survival and revenge. In 1942, 6 people destroyed Anna Matheson's family. 12 years later, she's ready for retribution. Under false pretenses, Anna has lured those responsible for her father's downfall onto a luxury train from Philadelphia to Chicago, an overnight journey of 13 hours. Her goal, confront the people who've wronged her, get them to confess their crimes, and deliver them into the hands of authorities waiting at the end of the line. Justice will at last be served. But Anna's plan is quickly derailed by the murder of one of the passengers. As the train barrels through the night, it becomes clear that someone else on board is enacting their own form of revenge, and that they won't stop until everyone else is dead. With time running out before the train reaches its destination, Anna is forced to hunt the killer in their midst while protecting the people she hates the most. In order to destroy her enemies, she must first save them, even though it means putting her own life at risk. You could count that as a historical, if one were doing the Midsummer Hist Mist. Death at the White Hart by Chris Chibnall. It says, for fans of Broadchurch. I love Broadchurch. Let's see what this is. If it lives up. Nothing keeps a village together like secrets. The villagers of Fleetcombe like to think of it as one of the most picturesque spots on England's coast, but now it's a disturbingly macabre crime scene. A man is found dead, tied to a chair in the middle of the road, a stag's antlers on his head. The gruesome scene stuns the town, especially when the victim is identified, Jim Tiernan, who ran the White Hart pub. Tiernan's pub is at the center of village life, and he knew everyone's secrets. Detective Nicola Bridge grew up in Fleetcombe and has now returned for the good of her family from a life away in Liverpool. DC Harry Ward is 10 years younger, and despite his newcomer status, determined to earn Nicola's trust, because they don't have long to crack the storybook facade and find out just what the people of Fleecombe have to hide. And now, in the place she thought she knew so well, Detective Nicola Bridge is asking questions. Is she ready for what she is about to find? I might have to check out that audiobook. I've got a lot of credits right now. Love, love, love Broadchurch. The first season. Plays Well with Others by Lauren Miracle. One year after her ex-best friend posted their private correspondence on social media, good girl Jake Nolan is still reeling. Thanks to Shelby's betrayal, Jake lost her job, her house, and her husband, not to mention a cherished friendship that turned out to be built on deceit. Circle Shelby, cross out Jake. But enough is enough, and after moving into a bungalow on idyllic Sweetwater Lane, Jake decides to retaliate by doing some crossing out of her own. With her brand new friend and neighbor Mabel admits to also having an enemy, they decide to join forces. Why not, since they're both itching for revenge? Only they're not the only ones. It seems that everyone in Sweetwater Lane is nursing a grudge or two, and although most of the grievances are trivial, a few sprout fangs. While Jake and Mabel's revenge game begins as a series of giddy pranks, the stakes become deadly when uninvited participants join the fun. And number one. I Bet You Look Good in a Coffin by Katie Brent, second in the Kitty Collins series. My name is Kitty Collins, and I'm a serial killer. I don't want to kill. It's just so hard to resist. Some men really, really deserve it. Men like Blaze Bundy, an anonymous influencer spreading misogyny online. He's making it very hard for me to control my murderous urges. Meanwhile, I'm in the south of France to watch my mother marry a man I've never met. I should be drinking cocktails and focusing on my tan, not plotting a murder. But a woman's work is never done. Surely one more teensy little kill wouldn't hurt, would it? Oh my. The Bachelorette Party by Camilla Stedden. This is described as Scream meets the guest list. On a remote island nestled off the coast of Sweden, four friends, Tilly, Anna, Linnea, and Evelina, meet every year. Best friends since childhood, the idea is to drink beer, dance by the water, and shake off the weight of life's expectations. The location of the island is a secret to everyone but them. One night of reckless fun and secret sharing, and then they return to their normal lives. 10 years later. Ever since she was a teenager, Tessa Nilsson has been consumed by the story of four friends who disappeared. As her true crime fervor turns into a wildly popular podcast, Tessa covered Sweden's most gruesome cases, but could never find the answers behind what happened to these women who disappeared. Now Tessa's podcast has crashed and burned, any chance she had at uncovering the truth vanishing with it. Annalise is Tessa's best friend, and before she walks down the aisle, she wants to have a bachelorette party. The destination? Baltic Vinyasa, a sleek, sophisticated yoga retreat on a small island off the coast, one with such similar characteristics to the tragedy years ago that it raises the hair on Tessa's neck. The idea is to drink gallons of kava, do sunrise yoga, and get in their last chance to bond with the bride. Tessa will not pass this up. It's her last chance to find out what happened to the four women once and for all. And it's someone else's last chance to get revenge. That's kind of a pretty cover. The Last Illusion of Paige White by Vanessa McCausland. Oops. Sorry. Maybe this limbo I'm in is me needing to atone for my sins. Maybe I need to go back and remember my life, but be more honest with myself this time, because stuck in this hazy, perfect world of my own creation, I know that I haven't been all that honest. Gorgeous, charismatic, Paige White has always lived a picture-perfect life. Her meticulously curated social pages exude an old-fashioned, wholesome lifestyle set against a picturesque town in Australia. Images of breakfast lakeside with her daughter, sunny afternoons in the family van, and romantic picnics with her husband are the envy of her thousands of followers. But when a dark, brooding image pops up on Paige's page, where she appears waterlogged and disheveled, and shortly after she's discovered drowned, alarm bells go off. Jane Masters, Paige's childhood best friend, has returned for the funeral. Jane left years ago to pursue a bigger life as a journalist in Sydney, putting everyone with her early days in the rearview mirror. But as Jane sinks deeper into the community she thought she'd never return to, she begins to discover that darker things lurk beneath the sparkle of the lake. Believe Me Now by S.M. Govett. There is no question mark, so this is a statement. A woman wronged and the detective investigating her husband's suspected crime must work through a chilling and puzzling case. Natalie Campbell loses time. She'll wake up in different places with no memory of how she got there. The blackouts are a symptom of her PTSD, which began after she was sexually assaulted by her boss, who was found not guilty. But she found ways to cope by setting up routines and relying on her supportive husband, Ryan. Then one day, her husband is accused of committing the same crime that ruined her life. Natalie desperately wants to believe he is innocent, but when Alice Litton, the young woman who accused him, is found murdered in the woods near their house, she begins to doubt the man she married. DI Helen Stratton is also healing from old wounds. Her older sister disappeared when she was 16, and the police didn't bother to investigate. Vowing to help other lost and vulnerable girls, she joined the force. Stratton is ready to do whatever it takes to catch the killer and bring justice to her sister and Alice. End of that row. Isn't it amazing that all the books that we look at, I rush to try to get through all of them because there's so many, and there's always so many each and every day, and that's every week. Those are all new books being published. Look at all the books that are being out there. We are truly blessed if you're a bookie monster. Hard Lights by J.B. Turner, 14th in John Resnick thrillers. When Angel Ramos, one of John Resnick's oldest buddies from Special Forces, is found brutally slain in a Los Angeles dumpster, Resnick races to California to hunt down his killers. Angel always had Resnick's back when they were on missions together, but recently his demons had caught up with him. Angel was a recovering junkie, and his teenage daughter had vanished into the dark corners of Hollywood's seedy underbelly. Resnick's old friend had been desperately trying to get his little girl back when he was viciously tortured and murdered. Determined to track down the missing teen as well as Angel's killers, Resnick uncovers one dirty secret after another beneath the glamour and bright lights of Los Angeles. But when their fearless methods attract the attention of a ruthless Mexican cartel, Resnick is on borrowed time. Resnick will need to employ all his Black Ops training to save Angel's daughter, avenge his friend, and get out of Hollywood alive. Kendra Elliott has a new one. Her First Mistake. This is first in Noelle Marshall series. Yep. Don't. When a very personal cold case murder is reopened, a detective's secrets come to light, etc. 13 years ago, Assemblyman Derek Bell was murdered in his home by an intruder. His wife, Noelle Marshall, was left for dead. The crime was unsolved, but it wasn't forgotten. Today, the FBI is tackling a fresh perspective on the case and looking to Noelle, now a detective for the Deschutes County, I'm saying that wrong possibly, Sheriff's Office, for new clues. It is reopening everything Noelle thought was behind her, memories of her escape from a traumatic childhood, a marriage that wasn't the perfect love story she'd been promised, and a husband whose charm and privilege hid a dark side. But Noelle has been hiding something too, a secret about the night Derek died that she has never told anyone. As past and present and leads and misleads collide, one thing is frighteningly clear. Derek's murder wasn't just unsolved. It's unfinished. And only the truth, no matter the risk, can save the next victim. His First Wife by Sue Watson. My perfect man is married and his wife is missing. Can I really trust him, or am I next? Sophie wasn't expecting to find love in Sicily, but when she finds him, Emilio, a professor who works at the university where she is teaching for the summer, he's kind, intelligent, funny, exciting, and deliriously unpredictable. Maybe perfect. But paradise quickly turns to purgatory as she uncovers the haunting disappearance of Emilio's first wife, and when she senses a shadowy character following her, watching her every move, Sophie starts to question her grip on reality. Is she being paranoid, or is nothing about her new life really what it seems? As further shocking revelations about Emilio's past surface, Sophie knows one thing for certain. Someone is trying to warn her away from him, but is that someone just jealous, or is Sophie caught in a lethal trap? In Defense of Good Women by Marilyn J. Zimmerman. Hi, Elena. She says hi to Mary, Helen, and Kim. How are you doing? She says she's good. Oh, good. Happy Tuesday. Indeed. And next Thursday, I'm going on vacation. I am super excited. Oh, that's going to be so fun. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you, too. This is a debut novel. The story of Victoria Stevens, a successful, hard-nosed criminal defense attorney appointed by the court to represent a 17-year-old minister's daughter charged with murder in the drowning death of her newborn child. Victoria faces a hostile community, a salivating press, an uncooperative client, but most of all, a nagging intuition that she should not be handling this case. Forced to delve into the psychology of neonaticide as she searches for a defense, Victoria discovers a link between this case and her own past, which, once uncovered, leads her beyond the boundaries of not just a profession, but the law. End of that road. Jill is not happy. Jill's not happy. Nobody's happy. Did we do this one already? It says June 10th. Let's double check the Kindle version. It says June 10th. All right. This is by Kara Ruda. Some secrets keep a couple together. If you ask Jill Tingley, she'll tell you she and her husband Jack are college sweethearts living the dream in Southern California. Wealthy, popular, and genetically blessed, theirs is an enviable life, though they've grown distant in recent years. Newly empty nesting with their daughter Maggie away at college, Jill suggests a road trip to reconnect. Jack would rather do anything else than drive to Utah with his wife. He's only stayed in this marriage because of a shared secret, a tragedy in the past he wanted to keep buried. And for his daughter's sake. But Jack is finished with the charade of his marriage. He's filing for a divorce as soon as they return, no matter what. But he doesn't realize what else Jill is hiding. So begins a cat and mouse road trip as a cunning wife, think Ripley in yoga pants, and a reluctant husband match wits and drive each other to the edge. Doesn't that sound like a fun read? Yeah. But everything will be fine. Jill still loves Jack and believes he's the only one for her. She'll do anything to keep him. Anything. She always has. Of Flesh and Blood by N.L. Lavin and Hunter Burke. A forensic psychiatrist's investigation into an infamous Louisiana serial killer leads him down a dangerous path of obsession, as he discovers they share the same cursed blood. Oh no, this is horror. In 2008, a serial killer known as the Cajun Cannibal brutally murders and consumes the flesh of 8 people in a small Louisiana parish. With law enforcement closing in on him, he takes his own life before he can face the inside of a courtroom. 10 years later, when forensic psychiatrist Dr. Vincent Blackburn discovers he and the Cajun Cannibal are more closely connected than he realized, he begins a case study into the sociopathy behind the killer's grisly deeds, only to find a torrent of small-town politics, interracial family dynamics, and the whispers of the supernatural muddying once clear waters. When copycat killings start anew, Vincent is thrust into the center of it all, putting his life, his family, and his own sanity at risk. As monsters, both figurative and literal, begin to manifest, Vincent discovers that untangling the truth from the lies is only the beginning of his nightmares. And our last one, The Lies We Tell by J.D. Barker and Richard Bailey. In a world of lies, the truth is her deadliest weapon. Sierra Coleman awakens from a horrific crash, her mind a blank slate. But as she claws her way back to reality, she discovers her amnesia is just the tip of a sinister iceberg. Every truth she uncovers is another lie, every ally a potential enemy. With a daughter she can't remember and a life she doesn't recognize, Sierra is thrust into a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. As bodies pile up and shocking betrayals come to light, she realizes the key to her survival lies buried in her forgotten past. Barker's razor-sharp prose, blah, blah, blah. Well, that is all we have for today. We made it. I might check out Death at the White Hart. We'll see. Alrighty. Well, tomorrow is romance and women's fiction. Mary says, "Hi, Elena. What fun to look forward to your coming vacation. Know you'll have a great time." Yes. She says, "Oh, you're really on it this morning. Finishing them all, and it was a minute to spare." Indeed. Woohoo. It helped that there weren't as many. Alrighty. Again, I do have sprints tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. They go for 2.5 hours. Hope you have a good Tuesday. Be safe. Read good books. And as the banner is about to say, I didn't change it yet. Kim says, y'all have a great day. You have a good lunch. Thank you, thank you. And as the banner says, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom nom. Have a good day and God bless.